And welcome. Tonight, APC elects Professor Nentawe Yilwata as national chairman. President Bola Tinubu urges governors to intensify grassroots mobilization and political engagement. People's Democratic Party orders legal action against defectors, mandates NWC to reclaim seats and shadow on November the 15th and the 16th, 2025. NLC supports Senate's call for stricter local content enforcement. Nigeria condemns violations as economic sabotage harming Nigerian workers. And 48 people, including children, die after Soviet-era passenger plane crashes in Russia's Far Eastern Amur region.
On business news tonight, Securities and Exchange Commission says it granted no objection to First Holdings Company Limited recent shares transaction after due consideration and full compliance with applicable requirements.
On sports, legendary professional wrestler and WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan dies at 71 following a cardiac arrest at his home in Florida.
And from the nation's capital, federal government backs efforts for local production of vital blood products to boost the nation's healthcare sector.
Tonight, we begin with a charge from President Bola Tinubu to state governors saying for the people who are complaining at the grassroots. But the president gave this charge during the 14th National Executive Committee meeting of the All Progressives Congress, the APC, at the State House Conference Center. Members of the party also elected Professor Nentawe Yilwata as a new national chairman of the APC following his nomination and subsequent election. Our State House correspondent, Larry Lasisi, reports.
President Bola Tinubu arriving at the State House Conference Center for the 14th National Executive Committee meeting of the All Progressives Congress. With him is the Vice President, the leadership of the National Assembly, and members of the party's National Working Committee. Former Vice President Yemi Oshibajo is also present. This is the first meeting of the party following the death of former President Muhammadu Buhari. A moment of silence is observed in his memory and a tribute offered.
I think that one of the most important attributes of President Muhammadu Buhari will be his respect for the rule of law, his respect for democracy, and his great love for this party that gave him an opportunity to run and serve as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum is then invited for the election of a substantive national chairman, which is seconded, and the question put.
I want to humbly move the motion that the National Executive Committee approve the office of the national chairman of APC to be zoned back from the northwest where it is now to north central geopolitical zone. That Professor Nentawe Yilwata from Plateau State, north central geopolitical zone, be nominated and be elected as the national chairman of All Progressive Congress.
I, Abbas Tajuddin, I do hereby second.
Those in favor of the motion as ably moved and seconded by the Right Honorable Speaker. Again, say nay. They are not here. The ayes have it. May God.
The new chairman is then sworn in.
I, Professor Nentawe Yilwata,
do solemnly affirm.
Do solemnly affirm.
That I serve.
And I will devote myself
to the service.
To the service.
And well-being of members.
And well-being of members.
Of the party.
Of the party.
So help me God.
So help me God.
He then delivers his acceptance speech, emphasizing his plans to move the party forward.
I pledge, without hesitation, that I will work with everybody in the party. I'll unite the party. I'll build the party. I'll expand the party with you as a focus.
In his remarks, the president thanked all party members and the new members.
More members are still coming. So if we accommodate the congresses till December, that is making room for those who are still coming. It's not a bad idea to abandon the sinking ship and be absent from a coalition of confusions.
He also touched on how the country is performing.
Nigerians are still complaining at grassroots. To you, the governors, you have to wet the grass more. And lead the way in delivering progressive change to Nigeria.
It was a very short meeting, and it appears the members here have addressed the key issues they set out to address at this meeting. They're leaving this place optimistic about the party, even as political activities heat up in the country. From the presidential villa, Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
In the meantime, the new national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Professor Nantawe Yewada, has been speaking on his plans for the party following his emergence. In an exclusive interview with Channels Television's political, Professor Yewada says the only way to build an enduring political party is to take tough decisions, and that's exactly what he is poised to do.
The essence of what what I would do as a party member now is that I may not be an absolute politician. I'm a politician, but coming in with private sector experience, coming with university experience, coming with administrative experience, coming with election processes experience, and now coming with the political, to use all this to gear the wheel for the political party. And all these things are the team players.
That is the who sees Nantawe as a very calm, gentle, easygoing guy. What it takes to be a national chairman of a ruling party with over almost 20 or more than states that your party govern. You have a majority in the National Assembly. Do you get it that it deserves to be? Are you ready for that?
Look at the body language.
Tough side of politics.
Look at the body language of Mr. President. Soft talking, calm, gentle. But look at where he's driving the country, taking tough decisions. Where people fear to even discuss.
So are you going to be taking tough decisions?
Of course, I will. Because that's what the president asked me to do. And the members are asking me to do also. This confidence they have in me is to make sure that I take tough decisions, but with a gentle and also incorporating teamwork in it for collective interest of the party. It's not, even if I take tough decisions, it's not actually me taking decisions. It's a national working committee. It's our party. It's a consultation. Because my job is just coordinates. I'm a coordinator of the national and the subnationals. And you know, well, you should know, based on our party constitution, the structure of the party starts from the wards. The wards are owned by the governors and the state party chairman. Why they do they're the actual field workers. We have very little job here to do, that of coordination.
Let's take a look at the other side of the political space, where the People's Democratic Party has fixed November the 15th and the 16th this year for its elective national convention to elect the new national officer that will pilot the affairs of the state into the 2027 general election and beyond. The decision is part of resolutions reached at the 101st meeting of the National Executive Committee of the PDP held in Abuja. The PDP NEC also directed the National Working Committee to take immediate legal action to recover the seats of all serving members of the National and State Assemblies elected on the platform of the PDP who have now defected to other parties.
It is the 101 National Executive Committee meeting of the People's Democratic Party, holding at the PDP Secretariat in Abuja, to take critical decisions ahead of the party's proposed national convention. The meeting is well attended by members of NEC, as well as officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, who are here to observe the meeting. The acting national chairman believes strongly that the meeting is an affirmation of unity in the party.
What you see here today, the serenity, the calmness and the composure of this NEC attest to the fact that PDP is still one and waxing stronger.
Issues around the party's plan for a national convention and the need to instill discipline within the party take center stage.
We sympathize for those who became impatient and left, but certainly they will understand their follies. While we'll still leave the door ajar for them to come in when they wish to, within a time limit, we will not continue to condone indiscipline. Because indiscipline is what brought us all the problems and challenges.
A very successful convention producing leadership that creates confidence will lead to a lot of people retracing their steps. Nigeria is waiting for us. The outcome of that convention will define the political landscape, I assure you.
The meeting proceeded into a technical session, after which the National Publicity Secretary briefs journalists on key decisions taken.
The elective National Convention to elect the next set of national officers of our party will hold on Saturday, 15 to Sunday, 16 November 2025 in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. NEC directed the National Working Committee to take immediate legal action to recover the seat of all 7 members of the National and State Assembly elected on the platform of the PDP, but defected to another party.
Leadership tussle within the PDP has been a major problem for the party. However, the resolutions reached at this meeting set the party on a new path, capable of addressing the leadership challenge it suffered for years.
The House of Representatives is considering a bill to coordinate all oil decommissioning efforts in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. The bill, sponsored by the House leadership, seeks to ensure international best standards and protect host communities and the environment. Speaking to stakeholders in Abuja, the chairman of the House Committee on Petroleum Upstream, Ado Daguwa, says the bill will not duplicate existing legal frameworks.
The NCDOC bill, sponsored by the leadership of the House of Representatives, is a landmark legislative proposal aimed at establishing a dedicated commission to coordinate all the commissioning efforts in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. This bill is not just another legislative initiative. It is a leadership bill designed to ensure that Nigeria meets globally accepted standards of decommissioning process, while protecting host communities and the environment from the harmful effects of improper facility abandonment. Ladies and gentlemen, this initiative comes as a direct response to the numerous incidents of non-compliance by oil and gas companies with the proper decommissioning process, incidents that have left indelible scars on our host communities, especially in the Niger Delta region. These challenges highlight the urgent need for a structured, transparent, and enforceable national framework to guide across the sector. We also recognize the commendable efforts of the regulatory institution in enforcing all assessing decommissioning practices. This bill is not meant to duplicate your work, but to complement and strengthen existing legal frameworks while creating a unified approach to a matter of national importance.
In part 2, after the break, President of Nigeria Labour Congress, Comrade Joe Ajaero, throws weight behind Senate's push for stricter enforcement of local content laws. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. APC elects Professor Nentawe Iwada as national chairman. President Bola Tinubu urges governors to intensify grassroots mobilization and political engagement. PDP orders legal action against defectors, mandates NWC to reclaim seats and schedules national convention for November the 15th and the 16th, 2025. NLC supports Senate's call for stricter local content enforcement. Nigeria condemns violations as economic sabotage harming Nigerian workers. And 48 people, including children, die after Soviet-era passenger plane crashed in Russia's far eastern Amur region. The president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Comrade Joe Ajaero, has thrown his weight behind the Senate's push for stricter enforcement of local content laws, describing the violation as a national crisis that continues to rob Nigerian workers of their rights and their opportunities. He was speaking during a courtesy visit by the Senate Committee on Local Content, led by its chairman, Senator Joel Onowakpo Thomas. Meanwhile, the Senate during plenary has directed lawmakers to reinforce its oversight functions as it embarks on a long recess. Our National Assembly correspondent Gloria Umezuke reports.
The business of the day, otherwise it can be challenging.
Lawmakers reconvene for what would be the last plenary before a 2-month recess. The lawmakers swiftly moved into a closed-door session, re-emerging shortly after with an announcement and a directive from the Senate president.
I guess the first thing is to move, Mr. President, that we do step down all the other items that we have on the order paper for today till the next legislative day. And Mr. President, the second arm of my motion is that we do now adjourn till Tuesday, the 23rd of September, 2025.
The suspension is just plenary sittings. All ad hoc committees should continue to work. All necessary committees, diaspora committee, committee on reparation, committee on interior, and others. This is the best time for you to undertake visits to prisons and all that. Do all your reports and make them available as soon as we come back.
In accordance with the directive, the Senate Committee on Local Content, chaired by Senator Joel Onowakpo Thomas, embarks on an interactive meeting with the Nigeria Labour Congress. It's a collaborative meeting to enforce stricter compliance with the local content laws, raising concerns about gaps in human capital development, job and salary discrimination, among others.
Advocate for the full enforcement of the local content laws, not as a favor to workers, but as a duty to our nation. Growing local capacity is a sure way to creating employment for our teeming graduates and artisans. As industry operators, we cannot blame the federal government for the unemployment when we are the one aiding and abetting those who are determined to bypass the law.
Why we are crying that there's no job, and actually there's no job. You say expatriates, even to worsen it, if you even have those expatriates at the same level, grade level with Nigerians, they earn double. You have discrimination in salary administration, even in such sectors in your own country. So you start to wonder, you can't even call it apartheid because you are being discriminated by a foreigner in your own country.
To support its oversight mandate, the Senate committee has urged the public, contractors and industry stakeholders to use the newly launched whistleblower portal to report any suspected breach of the local content law. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
Vice President Kashim Shettima says that policies being implemented by the administration of President Bola Tinubu are in the interest of Nigerians. He stated this during a meeting with the newly elected executives of the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Our State House correspondent, Emperor Simon, reports.
On economic affairs,
Vice President Kashim Shettima welcomes executives of the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NASIMA, to his office, led by the national president, Mr. Jani Ibrahim.
I implore on you to invest your confidence.
The Vice President assures the association of the current administration's commitment to supporting businesses to thrive.
The President speaks your language, the language of commerce. He grew up in that ecosystem. He knows how businesses are run. We cannot meet the $1 trillion economy target without your support and endorsement. And our newly rebased GDP, which confirms the importance of the organized private sector. And in every society, in manufacturing and industry and agriculture, are the major drivers, are the major creators of wealth. And honestly, our doors are open for robust engagement with NASIMA.
Both the Vice President and the leadership of NASIMA believe that national prosperity is anchored on strong collaboration between government and private sector, a relationship which the national president of NASIMA believes can be sustained through regular engagements.
The private sector is willing, able and ready to collaborate with government, to move the Nigerian economy forward. We are particularly encouraged, with his comments, especially when we mentioned to him that the $1 trillion economy target by 2030, we have the capacity, we have the ability, and we will not only achieve it, we will surpass it.
To enhance Nigeria's business environment, the federal government has embarked on tax reforms, streamlining trade processes and investing in infrastructure, among other programs. Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
We head to Kano State now, where the political, traditional and civil society groups gathered to contribute to an ongoing review of Nigeria's constitution with a call for the process to be inclusive, people-driven and non-partisan. The stakeholders insist the voice of the people must form the foundation of any amendment to the country's supreme law.
A significant turnout in Kano as the state hosts a critical gathering on the nation's constitutional review. Addressing the participants, Governor Abba Yusuf said the review must reflect the people's aspirations.
Constitutional amendment gives us the opportunity to address long outstanding issues, close existing gaps, and update our legal and institutional frameworks to fit the current realities and the future needs of our people.
A report on the review was presented by Professor Alwalu Yadudu, a senior advocate of Nigeria, who chairs the Constitution Review Committee constituted by the Kano State government.
This committee that I chair has had the opportunity of inviting for input from the public. And I'm happy to say that we have received considerable and varied amount of responses from the public.
Dr. Muhammadu Sanusi II will give his input on
Speaking on behalf of traditional leaders, the 16th Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi, called for a return to justice, equity and balance in the structure of governance.
For us as emirs, whatever the government, in consultation with the people, decides will be the position of Kano, we endorse it 100%.
Also lending his voice, Comrade Kabiru Inuwa, chairman of the NLC in Kano, demanded that the rights of workers and the common man be given central focus in any amended document.
Labour must ensure that labor-related matters are on exclusive list. Your Excellency, our reason is only one. A foreigner will come to Nigeria. Look at Nigerians and say, I will pay 10,000. Nigeria do not have any law to protect its citizens. What is the essence of legislation? It's to give fairness to the vulnerable. to protect the poor, to bring peace in the nation.
Federal lawmakers from both the red and green chambers vow to ensure that the final document will incorporate citizens' inputs.
You have our support, you have our solidarity all the time, and we will continue to do our best in the interest of our state and our people.
We will do our best to make sure that whatever comes from Kano, we'll do our best. We are your sons, and we will not disappoint you.
Former Governor Rabiu Kwankwanso raised an alarm over what he described as unfair distribution of federal resources.
Some of the issues that we have in this part of the country today has to do with lack of enough resources and, of course, mismanaging the little that comes in. And that's why we have insecurity, we have poverty, and so on and so forth. Now we are told that there is a road now from the south to east. But a situation where government is taking our resources and dumping it in what part of the country, and other parts of the country are left just like that, I don't believe that is the right thing to do by the government itself.
The Kano event served as a reminder that the Constitution is not just a legal document, but a social contract, one that stakeholders here insist must now be rewritten by the people and for the people.
The adoption of artificial intelligence in Nigeria is growing rapidly, but businesses must tread carefully. And that's according to a new report from the Center for the Study of Economies in Africa. Well, the 2025 report warns that while AI can drive high performance and increase profits, poor data governance and ethical gaps could undermine these benefits. Our correspondent Benny Ark reports.
The Center for the Study of the Economies of Africa has unveiled its 2025 Artificial Intelligence Report, focusing on the intersection between artificial intelligence and business operations in Nigeria. The report, launched under the theme AI Adoption and Data Governance in Nigeria, examines how digital technologies can boost business efficiency, drive profits, and transform decision-making.
Our reports, surveyed firms that are already adopting some form of digital technology. Key issue there is that digitalization is actually the main driver of AI usage. So that the more digitalized firms are, the more likely they are to use AI.
Our survey focused on asking questions around what barriers are firms facing in adoption of AI technology. What are the benefits they are getting? What ways can they overcome these barriers? What's the role of each stakeholder? The government, for example, the firms themselves, CSOs. How can we all come together to actually make firms use AI more?
In attendance were policymakers, technology experts, industry leaders, academics, and representatives from the private sector, who gathered to foster a deeper understanding of the opportunities and risks associated with AI in Nigeria's digital landscape, while advocating for stronger data governance to support responsible innovation.
All the sectors we actually surveyed was the fact that AI helps in increasing efficiency. So efficiency in terms of cutting the time organizations get their tax done, get their production of items ready, goods or services. It cuts down the time and the resources that they use in getting those targets, and then it gives them a competitive edge over other organizations, other firms that they have in the same market.
Of course, there's a lot of benefit from implementing and then deploying AI, but also there is a cost. And as we have seen globally, some estimate shows that even in the US alone, infrastructure investment on AI is around $1 trillion. So it just means that for any country, for any organization to really unlock AI, there needs to be massive investment.
As conversations on artificial intelligence continue to shape the future of work and commerce, stakeholders at the event agreed that a collaborative approach between government, industry, and academia is crucial. Benny Ark, Channels Television News.
And in part two, when we come back after this break, Securities and Exchange Commission says that it granted no objection to First Holdco's recent shares transaction after due consideration and full compliance with applicable requirements. And that's in business news. Please join us again. Welcome back. Let's head over to Abuja studios where Terry Kume is standing by to bring us more stories on the news at 10. Hello, Terry.
Well, thank you very much, Anne. The federal government is backing efforts for local production of vital blood products to boost the nation's healthcare sector. The National Coordinator of the Presidential Initiative on Unlocking the Healthcare Value Chain, PVAC, Dr. Abdul Mukhtar, made this disclosure during the presentation of a report on stakeholders' perspective regarding the possible local manufacturing of human serum albumin and immunoglobulin for medical treatment in Nigeria. He represented the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Pate, at the event in Abuja. The Presidential Initiative on Unlocking the Healthcare Value Chain is leading this meeting with some private sector players to boost the nation's health sector. The meeting is to consider the possibility of local production of some health products that could be used to treat low albumin levels in the blood, which can occur in conditions like sickle cell, anemia, liver disease, kidney disease, and malnutrition.
The essence of this meeting is to present formally the report for these products to the minister for him to endorse and bless it, while the private sector will then continue to work with the relevant agencies of the health ministry and the health sector to actualize that, working with international partners for technology transfer and things like that.
The report is the product of a public-private partnership, and the idea is to reduce Nigeria's dependence on imports and improve affordability and accessibility for the average Nigerian.
Feed Industries Limited is working closely with PVAC, Presidential Initiative for Unlocking Health Value Chain in Nigeria. This is a laudable project that the government set up to attract investors into production of health commodities to make them available for Nigerians and at affordable prices. We have also looked into the area of blood products, which is going to be first of its kind in Africa, which are also in high demand in Nigeria. And a lot of our citizens that are suffering from sickle cell anemia that needs blood constantly transfusion, which are not available. And even if they are available, they are extremely very expensive. So Harvest Feed has already identified a foreign venture that will join us to set up a JV joint venture in Nigeria.
The meeting, which had in attendance key stakeholders such as the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control and the National Blood Service Agency, concluded with a formal presentation of the report and the next steps, including setting up a standing committee to create an enabling environment for full-scale production in Nigeria. And while the federal government has launched a national occupational standards for conversion, calibration, and maintenance of auto gas-powered vehicles, at the ceremony in Abuja, the Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mr. John Eno, charged all stakeholders to key into the new framework in line with global best practices to ensure safety and security in the use of vehicles powered with compressed natural gas and electricity. Our correspondent Dele Omoyeni reports.
Stakeholders in the CNG and electric-powered vehicle value chain have come together to chart a way forward for the industry to key into global best practices. The Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mr. John Eno, sets the tone for the conversation.
One of the key initiatives is sustainable adoption of CNG as a cleaner and more economical fuel alternative to petrol and to diesel. The Presidential Initiative on Compressed Natural Gas initiative was established to accelerate this transition to ensure that Nigeria leverages its vast natural gas resources to reduce dependence on fossil fuels, to lower transportation costs, and to mitigate environmental pollution.
Key stakeholders in the sector expressed confidence in the continued.
NOS was subjected to national validation by industry practitioners and have been approved for training as by National Board for Technical Education, NBTE, in line with the National Skill Qualification best practices.
What has happened is that not only have they established conversion centers, they've employed people, technicians. When we started, there were less than, I remembered, this time last year, we went around Abuja. We went to NIPCO specifically in April of last year. And there were 2 vehicles that were filling at NIPCO. And NIPCO had already established that CNG station, the one near the airport, for about 4 or 5 years now. And they barely get 2-3 vehicles a day. But when we started this program, go there now, you see the long line. Yes, some people say, oh, is that evidence there's no gas? I say it's an evidence that the program is working. All we now need to do is to solve a new problem. And I believe with the minds and the creativity and the industry of you Nigerians, that we'll be able to solve the problem of providing a refueling facility to the last mile for all Nigerians.
The guideline is then launched. These new guidelines are to ensure that conversion centers follow safety standards and protocols, as well as quality control measures. Daily Omoyeni, Channels Television News.
The Legal Practitioners Privileges Committee has approved the elevation of 57 legal practitioners to the prestigious rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria. At its 169th plenary session held today in Abuja, the LPPC, under the distinguished chairmanship of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, approved the elevation of 56 advocate appointees and a single appointee under the academic category. Only 2 female legal practitioners made the list this year. They are the chairman of the NBA 2024 Annual General Conference Planning Committee, Mrs. Oyinkan Badejo Kusanya, and Mrs. Chinyere Monime. The list also includes the Attorney General of Abia State and former chairman of the NBA Lagos branch, Ikechukwu Nwanna, the immediate past Attorney General of Nasarawa State and now Secretary to the State Government, Labaran Magaji, as well as the Attorney General of Osun State, Oluwole Jimibada. The single academic appointee on the list this year is Professor Chima Ubayon. The swearing-in ceremony for the 57 successful applicants is scheduled to hold on Monday, September the 29th at the Supreme Court. The rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria is conferred as a mark of professional excellence upon legal practitioners who have demonstrated exceptional distinction either as advocates in the court or as academics, contributing significantly to the development of local legal scholarship. A Union Bank of Nigeria has given checks to winners of its annual Save and Win Pali campaign promo, which held at the bank's headquarters in Marina, Lagos. The promo, which is in its 4th year, is a targeted savings campaign initiated by the bank to encourage customers to save consistently over a period. A grand prize of 5 million naira was handed over to 3 winners of this year's promo.
This gathering serves as a culmination of a journey embarked upon by Union Bank of Nigeria in its drive to empower Nigerians through its annual Save and Win Pali campaign promo. Chief Executive Officer of the bank, Yetunde Oni, other top management staff, lottery regulators, as well as winners of this year's edition are all present here to witness the handing over of cash prizes. The promo train went around the country to reach all who have won in different categories, and for Union Bank, this development is consistent with its core objectives for the financial year.
We're very happy. It ties in directly with our core objectives of the bank for this financial year in terms of rewarding our customers who have consistently shown loyalty, and also in acquiring new customers who have expressed an interest in wanting to start a relationship with the bank.
These customers being rewarded are part of 3,984 who have benefited from the promo, and the CEO leads other management staff to hand out checks of 5 million naira each. For this winner from Zaria, the promo will increase patronage for the bank.
So many people that
they are not patronizing the bank with all this type of development, and they see it, you will see how they will just come back or come and join the bank.
Other loyal customers appreciate Union Bank for giving them the opportunity to participate and win.
It's only Union Bank. This one want to pay to my account. Oh yeah, Union Bank. 004. You don't have another bank. I don't have another bank. I have Union Bank. I have Union Bank up to today. Union Bank. So I pray. God in His infinity mercy could reward them.
I want to say a big thank you, a big shout out to Union Bank, the MD, the workers, everyone working here in Union Bank. I really appreciate this. I want to say a big thank you to you all.
Union Bank of Nigeria says the positive turnout of the 4th edition of its Save and Win Pali campaign promo, with a total prize money of 131 million naira, is due to a functional tech hub for the effective and efficient facilitation of operations, competent management and staff, as everyone looks forward to a more successful 5th edition.
Well, that's all from the nation's capital. Back to Anne in Lagos.
Thank you, Terry. The former First Bank Group Managing Director, Dr. Olabisi Onosoya, walked out of court a vindicated man on Wednesday after a federal high court in Lagos struck out a long-standing loan-related case involving his name. The court's decision followed the withdrawal of the suit by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, after an out-of-court settlement was reached among all parties, including First Bank of Nigeria PLC, the bank's former chairman, Obal Tudeko, and Anchorage Leisure Limited. The Attorney General of the Federation also played a key role in facilitating the resolution. Speaking shortly after the court ruling, Mr. Onosoya's media advisor, Michael Osunoye, said the retired banker had always maintained his innocence and had nothing to hide. Mr. Onosoye also says that Dr. Onosoya has been completely vindicated and was never part of the approval process that led to the transaction under EFCC investigation. He adds that for 8 years, the former burden, but always insisted he did nothing wrong, and that now the court has affirmed that. He also added that Mr. Onosoya made it a point to appear before the court at every sitting, showing his willingness to clear his name. Dr. Onosoya, who retired voluntarily from First Bank in 2015 after decades of distinguished service, described the case as a painful episode that attempted to tarnish a legacy he spent his entire career building. We turn our attention to the world of business. Dominic Iwiwu is standing by to bring us stories.
Thank you, Anne. The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has clarified its position regarding the recent off-market deal carried out on the shares of First Hold Company transaction by involved parties on July the 16th. In a statement signed by its head of external relations, Efe Bello, the capital market regulator says it granted a no objection to the transaction after due consideration and in full compliance with applicable requirements. The SEC explained that there was no subsequent request for additional information from the Central Bank of Nigeria following the conclusion of the transaction. The Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Bayo Ojulari, has assured of the speedy delivery of the Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano AKK natural gas pipeline project. He made this known today at NNPC Limited's Gas Power and New Energy Directorate for the 2025 AKK Business Development Forum, where he stated that the project will unlock economic prosperity when it comes on board. The NNPC boss described the gas pipeline as a strategic economic catalyst for the country, which is expected to reshape the landscape through power generation and industrial growth. And from there, we head to the stock market, which is still recording new milestones within the month of July. Willie Bong tells us more.
Welcome to the Stock Market Report. The market is up again today with the ASI gaining, obviously 0.48%, hitting yet another all-time high. The index crossed 133,000 points today. And we are seeing the signs at intraday, and the market cap, let's look at it very quickly, solidly at 84 trillion naira. Ardell built on its Wednesday's gain. The stock added 5 naira to close at 507 naira, making it one of the movers for today. So gains in Ardell, let's look at the sectors, and O&O helped to lift the oil and gas index up by 1.32%, and still sustaining. We look at banking, that positive momentum from that sector, and we also see for a third consecutive day, consumer goods. We see Honeywell flour up, also doing very great. International breweries and Guinness up today. Guinness posted profit for the full year 2025 against the loss recorded in the full year 2020. Keep an eye out for markets tomorrow. Will Ibang signing out.
And that's it on business news. Back to Anne for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Dominic. Let's now join Simon Pusa in our London studio for more international news around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Clashes between Thai and Cambodian troops at their disputed border have killed 12 people, Thai authorities say. The fighting marks an escalation of the dispute between the two Southeast Asian neighbours that dates back to more than a century. Most of the casualties were civilians, and they were all from 3 Thai provinces, according to Thailand's army, which also reported several people were wounded. Cambodia has yet to confirm if it suffered any casualties. Both sides exchanged gunfire early on Thursday and claimed the other had fired the first shot. It escalated quickly, with Thailand accusing Cambodia of firing rockets and Bangkok carrying out airstrikes on Cambodian military targets.
The Royal Thai government urges Cambodia to cease its repeated acts, which constitute severe violations of international law. Such actions fundamentally contradict the principles of good neighborly relations and good faith, and will further undermine Cambodia's reputation and credibility on the global stage.
4 leading news agencies have expressed desperate concern for journalists in Gaza, who they say are increasingly unable to feed themselves and their families. A joint statement said those reporting the conflict from Gaza now face starvation and the same dire circumstances as those they are covering. International news outlets rely on local reporters within Gaza, as Israel does not allow foreign media to send journalists into the territory.
I do have an understanding for the fact that it might be very difficult to actually distribute, but also we know that the borders have been blocked. And this is a situation of malnutrition that has nothing to do with a crop that has failed.
Russian rescue services have found the wreckage of a plane that disappeared around 16 kilometers from its destination in the far eastern Amur region. The Angara Airlines AN-24 plane, carrying 42 passengers and 6 crew, had left close to the Chinese border and vanished from radar screens as it approached Tindar Airport. Amur's regional governor, Vasily Orlov, said all necessary resources had been deployed to find the plane. 5 children were among those on board, he added. No one is thought to have survived. Drone strikes by both Moscow and Kyiv have killed 2 in Russia and 3 in Ukraine. Here, Sochi being hit by massive explosions, striking oil depots, railway warehouses, and damaging a key road link. 3 people were found dead in the rubble of a house after a strike in Ukraine's eastern Kharkiv region, and several people were wounded in the cities of Cherkasy and Zaporizhia. The famous Privoz Market, a UNESCO World Heritage Site in the Black Sea port of Odessa, was also hit, and several fires broke out across the city. It comes after Ukrainian and Russian delegations met on Wednesday evening in Istanbul in the 3rd round of ceasefire talks. Neither side appeared to harbour much hope for progress before the talks started, which, according to the head of the Ukrainian delegation, lasted barely an hour. The White House has pushed back after reports that US President Donald Trump was told in May that he was among hundreds of names mentioned in Justice Department documents relating to the late convicted paedophile financier Jeffrey Epstein. The Wall Street Journal said the president was informed of the fact by the Attorney General Pam Bondi during a routine briefing. It noted that appearing in documents was not a sign of any wrongdoing by Trump. In response, a White House spokesman called it a fake news story.
Look, the president has made it clear that he wanted these documents to be declassified. He wanted the American people to see the truth, and now he wants those who perpetuated these lies and this scandal to be held accountable. As for what accountability looks like, as the director said, it's in the Department of Justice's hands, and we trust them to move this ball forward.
And a Filipino couple didn't let a typhoon deter them from celebrating their wedding day. Despite knee-high water flooding their church, the couple, Jade Rick Verdillo and Jamaica Aguilar, decided to go ahead with their scheduled wedding. The couple exchanged their vows in front of friends and family inside the historic Barasoain Church in Malolos, in Bulacan province. The church completely flooded due to heavy rains brought in by both a seasonal monsoon and a typhoon. The scenes have gone viral on social media as another example of Filipino resilience in the face of calamity.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Many thanks indeed, Simon, and welcome to Sports News. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajudeen, has announced plans to establish a National Sports Academy for Sustainable Sports Development in the country. The Speaker disclosed this in Abuja at the maiden distribution of sports equipment to members of the House Committee on Sports for their various constituents. Chairman of the House Committee on Sports, Kabiru Amadu, commended President Bola Tinubu and the leadership of the National Assembly for the 288% increase in the sports sector budgets from 29 billion naira in 2024 to 113 billion naira in 2025. Let's head to the Women's Cup of Nations, where Black Queens head coach Kim Laya says his side is determined to end their campaign on a high when they take on South Africa in the third-place match. Ghana missed out on its place in the finals after a heartbreaking 4-2 loss on penalties to host nation Morocco following a 1-0 draw after extra time. And away from football now, World Wrestling Entertainment, that's WWE, has confirmed that Hall of Famer and American legendary professional wrestler Terry Gene Bollea, better known by his ring name Hulk Hogan, has died at the age of 71. Hogan's manager Chris Volder told journalists that he died surrounded by his family at his home in Clearwater, Florida. Hogan won 6 WWE championships across a glittering career. As one of the most recognizable faces of the sport, he was inducted into WWE Hall of Fame by Sylvester Stallone in 2005. An undisputed world heavyweight champion, Alexander Usyk, has been ordered by the WBO to face New Zealander Joseph Parker in a mandatory heavyweight title defense. The Ukrainian was crowned undisputed world heavyweight champion on Saturday after beating Daniel Dubois in a 5th round stoppage at Wembley Stadium. And that's sports. I'm Kelly. It's back to Anne.
Thank you, Kelly. And the main news again. All Progressives Congress, the APC, has elected Professor Nentawe Yewada as national chairman. President Bola Tinubu urged governors to intensify grassroots mobilization and political engagement. The People's Democratic Party has ordered legal action against defectors. The opposition party mandated its NWC to reclaim seats and scheduled national convention for November the 15th and the 16th, 2025. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Wawada. Good night and stay safe.